allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The first order of business is approval of the minutes. We have minutes from June 19th, 2018.
So moved.
Seconded.
Any discussion? All those in favor? And we have July 2nd, 2018.
I'll move the minutes as presented.
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you. That brings us to our first public comment. If you have a public comment, please step to the podium, state your name and where you live in Berwick. And
I'm Opie from the Berwick Transfer Station. This is going to be real short. Saturday, August 25th, from 9 to 1 will be our hazardous waste day. I do have some flyers over on the table over there. They got some in the town hall, and we're giving them out at the transfer station. We've been doing it for about 3 weeks now. So this is a chance to get rid of all your oil-based paints, turpentine stains, and all this type of stuff. So
and where is it being held?
it's going to be held at the South Berwick maintenance facility on Route 4, right near Mick's Garage. So,
Thank you very much.
but we will have signs out there.
All right.
So, any questions?
Nope. Thank you.
Gentlemen, have a good day.
You too.
Yep. Martha, please step up to the podium.
Hello, my name is Martha LaPierre. I live on Bell Street in Berwick, Maine. I have been having some real bad issues with the recreation department. The children up there have been throwing rocks and apples and all kinds of things over the fence. They've already broke the siding. I tried to get a hold of your rec director more than once. She's never returned my calls, except yesterday she called me back. I called her last Wednesday. She never returned my call until yesterday. And I told her what happened, and I said, I can't wait for you, Kim, so I called a police officer. I should have gotten his name, but I didn't. I'm sorry about that. But the officer was wonderful. He came over. I showed him the damages. I showed him the rocks and the apples all over the property. And I told him I didn't pick them up this time. I waited so I could show them to you. And he said he would go up to the ball field and he would speak to them at the rec. And he did. So since that, I have not had any more problems. But this is an ongoing issue. I have come down to the town hall before to talk to Kim. She is never in her office. I've been up to the ball field. Today I went up there. I was going to speak to some of the young people that work there. She was sitting in her car having a cigarette. So she spotted me and said, oh, you must be here to speak to me. And I went over and I asked her several questions. And she said, we're going to take care of the problem. I said, Kim, it's too bad I had to call a police officer to have the problem taken care of. They're busy, but I had to do it. And then I called the town hall and I spoke with the town clerk and I also spoke with Lisa Eustace. And I explained to them what had happened. Now, I went home. This morning I came to the town hall. I picked up one of your books. I went through the book and I saw some issues I thought the town should be aware of. I don't know if anyone knows it or anyone has looked. There's $80,177.22 being spent on that recreation. There's only 5 weeks up to that summer camp. The camp opens at 8:30 in the morning and it closes at 3:30 p.m. except for the children that stay on the aftercare. That's all extra. So if you figure it out, that's 7 hours a day. That's 35 hours a week. And my question is, why would these people, one person, get $5,168.85 in that short amount of time? And if you go through the book, you'll see that it is I added it up twice to make sure I was gonna have my right figures when I came here this evening. Your rec director gets $30,464.51. I would like to know how many hours she puts in to receive that kind of money. There's also 19 counselors, 5 part-time, and 2 camp leaders. I don't know what the camp leaders do. I do know that one of them gets $5,176.59. The other camp leader gets $5,088.75. I don't know what their job description is for this, but I do know that I went over these figures. It's in your town hall directory book there, so anybody that wants to check it, they can. So I would just like to know, and I'd like the townspeople to know, where all this money is going and how much it's costing us taxpayers. So,
Well, I spoke to people in the town hall after you approached them, and I wasn't aware that this was going on like it is, but as I understand that this has happened in years past also.
Yes, it has.
And it hasn't been corrected. I spoke with the town manager yesterday about this, and I can assure you that things will change. I'd like to have pictures taken of the damage you've had done, and we'll see about making that right for you.
thank you, Mr. Wright. And I
and-
thank the board for listening to me. And when I saw these figures today, I just couldn't believe it. So I went over them a couple of times before I wrote them all down so I could bring them down here to let the townspeople know. Most of the people don't even read those books, which they should. And I spoke with the town manager, and he's been very helpful. I do have one other issue, and that's, I wanted the highway director to please put up a sign, because we get U-turns daily looking for the recreation field. They can't find it. The sign is way over there on Rochester Street. So in the meantime, they come up in our yard and do
They
U-turns.
come up to Bell Street.
Looking
right,
for it, right.
right.
Because they think that's where it's at.
Right.
And I just nicely tell them, no, you gotta go back out to the end of the street, go down, go through the stop signs until you get to Rochester Street, take a right. You'll see a sign if you go down there on Rochester Street that says recreation. So I was hoping that the,
We'll make sure Robert
okay.
put something up there.
Thank you
know.
very much, I appreciate that. Thank you
Now,
again.
do you also own the property over on Sullivan Street?
I do.
I know that there had been problems before with people driving through there. Has there been any more problems with that since
No,
they put the
there
tape
hasn't
up?
since you put up the yellow tape, it's been great.
We'll make something more permanent than the yellow tape.
Okay.
Is eventually
That's
that's a
wonderful.
work in progress there. So.
Okay, thank you very much.
But I understand your frustration, and we'll make sure that you're made whole on this.
Okay,
As,
thank you to the board for letting me come in and talk tonight.
Not a problem. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll move on. We have no public hearings, we have reports of committees, and I know that BCTV is here.
Good evening. Been working a lot on video editing because I had no video editor helping me during the month of July, but I was hoping she'd be back this first week in August. Unfortunately, Tammy had a car accident, and she is hurt. She's fine as far as no broken bones or anything, but just the impact is really paining her, so she will not be back. For a while, at least. Since I reported to you on June 19th, we've edited 19 videos. These have all gone out. 2 were done, one by Ralph Morang, one by Kevin Gray. The remainder were done by me. Unfortunately, I'm sad to report that I did not get in to do the rec field this summer as I had originally intended. I guess it was kind of a blessing in disguise because I was able to do a lot of other things here in prep for a second channel. Capital improvement funds that we've spent. BCTV purchased a new laptop for me. I'd been using my own laptop to edit so that Tammy could have the edit machine for the work that she was doing. I'm retiring my old one, and I'm going to be using the new one exclusively for BCTV. With that, I purchased a monitor and a keyboard and a docking station so that I can just take the laptop and not take everything else. We've just contracted for a new desktop computer for our office. Dealing with RX Computers in Rochester, they're going to custom build us the desktop that we're really looking for that will help us with the server as well as with video editing as an alternate source. We also purchased an office chair. So we now actually have 2 office chairs, not that they fit too well in that corner, but we've got 2 so that I can use them with other people. The Comcast technician came in today, very interesting gentleman, and he was going to schedule a time to hook up our second channel, but we don't have the server to hook up our second channel, and I was told it was going to be in September, so I wasn't quite ready for it. I've scheduled to have Telview and then Castus people, and then a Tightrope Media. So I've got 3 presentations in the next 2 weeks on different servers and their costs upfront as well as ongoing. And hopefully I can get in touch with Comcast and get them back here when we need them. Let's see. Did y'all see my new sign? Did everybody see the new sign out there? Yeah. So we finally got our BCTV sign. I want to thank Portsmouth Sign Company. They did a great job. They were wonderful to work with. If anyone needs to get a sign made, I highly recommend them. They really, the artist did a lot of the work. I had Jackie came over to look at the sign to make sure it was going to fit, the whole 9 yards. So they were wonderful. Maureen Nikitas is ready to come back. We're going to start school board meetings next week, so we'll resume that. I also reached out again to Deborah Wilson, who got back in touch with me. She is on the mend as well and said she would be happy to come in September to start learning the ropes and how to do that. New programming schedule. I gave each one of you a new programming schedule. So I've heard from some people that they really want the meetings and the bulk of local and meeting stuff at 6 p.m. or thereafter, because that's when they're home. So what I tried to do is make it an easy to remember schedule where it's the same each day and it's easy for them to say, oh, this is the time that meetings are going to be on, and they know that. Of course, it will change with the second channel because then government meetings will be all on one. But we're still seeking members for the BCTV committee. And if anyone is interested, they can reach out to either me or to Lisa Hustis, who is the chair here in the town office. I also want to remind members, nonprofits, if you have slides, upcoming events that you want to distribute, it shows every 3 hours on the hour. And that's a great way to get your information out. If you want to do a PSA, we'll work with you. Any questions?
No, thank you.
Perfect, thanks.
That brings us to Envision Berwick, as I have a note from James. Is the Great Falls Park Subcommittee is hosting an open house August 18th at 9 a.m. at 25 Sawmill Hill. The subcommittee will share the final plan for the Great Falls Park. For more information, please visit greatfallspark.me. The Recreation Master Plan Subcommittee is making progress on their master plan. Actually, they're working on it right now next door. The committee will have a draft available for Envision Berwick review soon. So that's that. We're going to go to appointments, presentations, and other guests. And if there's if the other members don't mind, I'm going to take it out of order a little bit. We have the Spirit of America Award presentation. And I'll actually step in front here. This is Spirit of America Award going to the Charles S. Hatch American Legion Post. If whoever the representative is stepping forward, we'll make a presentation, make it official. Hey Jeff, how's it going?
How are you?
Not too bad.
I'm not in trouble, am I?
No, I don't deal out punishment, trust me. I leave that to my wife. This is a municipal resolution from the town of Berwick. A resolution by the Board of Selectmen, August 7th, 2018, the Main Spirit of America Foundation tribute honors the Charles S. Hatch American Legion Post 79. Whereas the members of the American Legion Post 79 consist of 160 members, men and women from Berwick, Maine, and the surrounding communities. They are very active within Berwick community, serving veterans and Berwick citizens in need. Whereas their mission is to assist all veterans that have served their country, providing a comprehensive range of services. Whereas the Legion's fundraising goes back to the Berwick community for education scholarships. Whereas the Legion recognizes a local Business of the Year, Maine Police Officer of the Year, and Citizen Year of the Year. Whereas the Legion provides and sponsors community events such as the Car Show, Flag Day, Memorial Day, and Veteran Day services. Whereas the Legion helped raise funding for the Puerto Rico hurricane relief effort. Whereas the Legion sponsors American Red Cross blood drives. Therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Selectmen of the Town of Berwick, in sincere gratitude and appreciation that the Charles S. Hatch American Legion Post 79 is hereby recognized for the exemplary citizenship and achievement and honor brought to the community with the 2018 Spirit of American Foundation Tribute. Thank you very much. State Representative Beth O'Connor could not be here tonight, but she got a legislative sentiment up in Augusta from the state of Maine. Be it known to all that we, the members of the Senate and House of Representatives, join in recognizing the American Legion Charles S. Hatch Post 79 of Berwick, which has received a Spirit of America Foundation Award. The Spirit of America Foundation was established to encourage and promote volunteerism, and the foundation presents awards to honor local individuals, organizations, or projects in appreciation of community service. We send our congratulations to everyone at Charles S. Hatch Post 79 on the post receiving this award. And be it honored that this official expression of sentiment be sent forthwith on behalf of the 128th Legislature and the people of the state of Maine. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the Berwick Selectmen taking the time to recognize the work that we do in the community. We're really blessed to have a great community, and we're proud to be a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been no secret in Berwick that the Legion Post has been outstanding in their efforts to make Berwick a much better community, and we all appreciate your actions. Thank you. That brings us to Dave Andreessen, proposed changes to the land use ordinance and ordinance for the November 6th ballot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So this is the culmination of the last 6 months that we've been working on in between getting applications for subdivisions and just things that come into the planning board. Let me just say, very happy with Lee J from Southern Maine Planning. His technical expertise is really there. I know James works like 35 hours a week, so next time you guys do your budget, if you can find 5 more hours for him and make him full-time, because James is really, he's really, kind of taken the bull by the horns here and really learned a lot about planning and really gotten in depth on a lot of things and made a lot of very good suggestions that, that the board has taken up. So with our amendments for the November election, the November vote, there's a lot of house cleaning in here. And there's some suggestions that we made, and also Lee J and also James. And the big thing is here on 6426, we've added back in not to exceed a 4-to-1 ratio of residential to non-residential use measured by constructed floor space. This statistic is tracked by the planning department and updated as new permits are issued. This was originally in the land use ordinance, and then we took it out probably last year, but I really felt that I wanted this back in because any new, and we actually said in here, this is the area formerly known as Prime Tanning with frontage on Wilson School and Sullivan Street, so basically right across the street, to ensure that any new construction in there wouldn't be only residential. We really wanted to make sure that. So this doesn't affect any of the existing buildings, but any new construction in there has to be meet that 4-to-1 ratio. Amendment 2 is cleaning up some of the language on here as we continue to follow what's going on in Augusta with recreational marijuana and the laws and the changes. We cleaned up some of our definitions in here. Instead of calling it retail use marijuana, it's now called recreational marijuana use. And you can see we're citing in here the Maine state statutes. Also, we actually put a table in here as well of where we would allow these medical marijuana cooperatives and medical marijuana production facilities. And essentially, it's out in the R3 district, it's out in the RCI. The RCI is out on Route 4, and it's prohibited in any other part of the town. And they still have to come before the planning board. And let me get to the other part here. Okay, location. So, being out on R3, you have to be on either Route 4 or Route 9, have frontage on Route 4 or Route 9 in order to have either a medical marijuana cooperative or production facility. So you can't be, on Little River Road, let's just say, and start a marijuana production facility there. Moving on to 8.25.7, signage and advertising. This is taken pretty much from other municipalities in the state that it's written their recreational marijuana laws, when it comes to signage, cultivation, the consumption as well. You can see the consumption's taken right out of the state statutes. So that's it for. Seems like every time we come back here every 6 months, and probably I'll be back here in 6 months, and we'll have something new. So, Amendment 3 is the multiple manufactured homes and mobile homes on individual lots. We've all heard about certain area in town where there's 3 mobile homes on it. It's not considered a mobile home park. That went through the code enforcement officer. That project did not come through the planning board. It did not meet the threshold because there was 2 different owners in there, and the way that it was explained to me by Lee J, our planner, and Joe, our CEO, is this was pretty cut and dry. So what we want to make sure is that in the downtown area, which is the CI district, which is the Village Overlay District, no manufactured or mobile homes will be allowed. So just rest assured that the parcel formerly known as Prime Tanning will not turn into a trailer park. That's the CI district. It's X'd out there. But it's conditional use application in R1, which means they have to come to the planning board. And in pretty much any other part of Berwick, the R2, the R3, they have to come before, it's permitted through the code enforcement officer. But anything in R1, which is just outside of downtown, they have to come before the planning board. Amendment number 4 is farm animals defined and regulated through definition. We didn't have any of this in there, and as more people are going towards having chickens and pigs and things like that in smaller parcels of land, I know a lot of other municipalities, like in New Hampshire, for instance, like Durham, they had to come up with a policy on goats because people who were living downtown in a quarter-acre lots were having goats. Well, this is going to, present a problem. So we actually had to define animal farm, and then we've left it conditional pretty much in every single in all of our zoning districts here in town. But you have to meet that definition here of cattle, 1 bovine animal unit per acre of cleared hay pasture land. Well, there's not many 1-acre lots in the R1 with cleared hay pasture land, and if you have it, well, then you can have a cow. Do you understand that? So that's the caveat there, to kind of the catch-all. We're not saying that you can't do it, but hey, you know what? If you live in R2 and you have enough land, and you can have you have 2 acres of land, of cleared hay pasture land, then you can have 2 cows. So we wanted to put that in there, and because we think it might potentially be a problem at some point. And then this amendment number 5 was just, we just changed this to conditional use. This was already in the new non-residential buildings greater than 5,000 square feet. We just made some changes in here. We just added this table essentially. And then the hard one here is Amendment 6, the odor control. It's very easy to stand outside with a decibel meter and decide if something is over a certain threshold, but what I smell might be different what you smell. So this is a definition that we got from Southern Maine Planning to use as, you know, it's just, it's not the best definition, but at least we have a definition now. And essentially this goes to, let's say, pigs. Somebody's got pigs in their yard, and if it's a nuisance, we can kind of fall back on that. That's just something for the code enforcement officer. So we have not had a public hearing yet. We were a little bit late on getting that. They're nobody's fault, but Patty's allowed us to have a public hearing next Thursday. So taking anything that we get from the public hearing, if there's any changes or any recommendations, I'll make sure I'll come back and I'll present them to you if there's any changes. Also, one of the other things that we're working on right now that we're going to add as an appendix to the land use ordinance is design standards. And James has done an excellent job putting this design standard booklet together of how we want the businesses to look across the street once they finally start getting built. Building facades, lighting, the way the windows look, and anything. So once we looked at it finally last week. We made a few changes, and he's going to update it. I'll get you guys a copy of that to have. It's something that we're not going to have to vote on. It's almost like a non-binding thing. It's a guideline, so it's going to be part of our appendix. And when anybody who's going to develop in the village district comes in, these are going to be the things that we're looking for. You know, classic New England structures, no flat roofs, things like that. So that's what we're working on right now.
Questions for Dave? I got a couple.
Sure.
You know, the building standards and features, the 6426, the very first one, is you said that the 4-to-1 ratio would be for new buildings.
Correct.
Would that include the buildings that are already standing, or would
No.
those be a reuse?
No.
Those would be a reuse, so it would
Those
just
would
be
be a
any new
reuse.
buildings that go up.
Correct. So there can be, yes, so that does not apply to the buildings that are currently there, correct?
Unless they're leveled and rebuilt.
Correct.
And then to your odor control, you mentioned the smell of animals. We've heard many times in the last 6 months about odor of the marijuana cultivation up on Route 9.
And this applies to that as well,
That
correct?
would apply to that.
This applies to that as well, but here's the thing, the thing with that is that project got in before we had anything in the land use ordinance. Now, any new marijuana production facility would have to fall into the guidelines for odor control for marijuana, which are more stringent, which require filtration systems and a filtration and an odor control plan.
Any new development at that facility would have to follow these if they pass.
That's correct too. So any new, if they decide to put another building in there, or they decide to take a building and put something else in there, make a new facility, they would have to come back for a conditional use application with the conditional use application, and they would have to fall under those guidelines for odor control plans.
Any other questions?
No, that's what I was going to ask, so. It's going to be very difficult to defend any type of subjective odor control type of ordinance, but.
It's
again,
absolutely.
It's subjective, so.
Absolutely. And it's, at least we're giving Joe a tool right now that he could use.
All right.
So I don't know how good his sniffer is, but, we'll find out. I don't know if he's been up there yet, so,
Thanks, Dave.
Thank you,
Okay.
and thank you to the planning board for working on these, you know, I know it's a lot of
Oh,
long tedious hours.
I'm sorry, I almost forgot. The sidewalk plan. We are delving into sidewalks because we are tired of having developments come in and there's a requirement in the land use ordinance that they have to put in a system of sidewalks, and we end up waiving them because essentially you're building sidewalks to nowhere. So we've been working with Lee J, Southern Maine Planning, and James has put together this. James is watching from home right now. He's probably
next
so
door.
happy. Yeah, he's so happy. No, you know, we have an inventory of all the sidewalks. We have cost breakdowns, but we also want to create something that is going to have to be voted on. You're going to have to approve it. It's going to have to go to town vote to capture, say, I can use it because it's an approved application, but the 115 Old Pine Hill Road, we waived that, but essentially what we could have done was we could have captured that money that he would have spent on putting sidewalks in and taken that and putting that into an account. It's not an impact fee. It's an account that can kind of sit out there in perpetuity, I guess is the word, that you don't have to use it in a certain amount of time. But we would be able to use that to, say, build sidewalks down Old Pine Hill Road from School Street. So we're working on that now too, but we just want to make sure that we have all of our figures right. So I know he's working with the highway department on that.
And that's been one of my pet
I know.
peeves for years.
I
you
know, yeah, and
Yeah.
we're doing it now because we have the same conversation every time there's a subdivision that comes in,
Right.
and we waive sidewalks, and it's like, why even have the requirement at this point? But,
Right.
you know, we don't have what we need yet, the infrastructure in town yet, but this would allow us to capture that money and use it.
Thank you.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Next, we have Sean Winston as an appointment of the regular planning board member. This gets a little complicated, as we have a member of the planning board who was arrested and admitted to breaking the law, and we're looking to replace him with a regular planning board member. But first, we're going to have to remove the original one. The planning board member is David Dow. He was arrested a month or so ago and admitted to the crime. Is conferring with the town manager. Is we appoint to the boards, we can take him off, and I'm going to make a motion that we remove David Dow from the planning board member.
I'll second your motion.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. That brings us to Sean Winston. Sean is not here tonight. He's an alternate member right now. He would like to move up. I will make a motion that we appoint Sean Winston as a regular planning board member. I don't have the rest of his term.
2020.
Till 2020. So.
Sure you want to do that?
No, not him. He's already on the planning
You're already
board.
on, that's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
yeah,
Sean's an alternate right now. He's
Okay.
been an alternate for a while.
All right.
right.
And he did,
So,
and he would step into the regular role.
I know it is, sorry.
yeah, yeah, he's already on it. He's an alternate, right, right. Yeah. So I'll make that motion. Do I have a second?
You do. Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. And that brings us to Michael LaRue, who is an alternate on the planning board, as he wants to be appointed to the Envision Berwick Committee. As we mind stepping to the podium and letting us know why you have so much time on your hand? You sure you don't want to run for selectman?
Yeah, no, I'm good for now. I enjoy being with the planning board. I've been learning a lot. So, no, but my wife's on the committee for Envision Berwick, and it's just nice to have another person there. I like putting my time in with the town, and I hope they like it too. So, just having a say and is all of the reason why I want to do it.
We appreciate that.
Thank you.
Do we have a motion?
I would move that Michael LaRue be appointed to the Envision Berwick Committee.
I'll second it.
Any discussion?
No?
All those in favor?
Thank you for volunteering.
Thank you,
Awesome,
Mike.
thank you.
Yep. We'll find something else for you to do next if you have so much time on your hand.
Tom, I do have a question about Envision Berwick, and
Yeah.
do we have anybody from the selectmen that are represented on the board?
I'm part-time
Okay.
person. I really have a lot on my plate. Is if you're willing to step forward, it's a lot of fun. It's a good group of people. There's a lot of energy, and the players have changed over the years. There's a core group that stays with it, but we're always looking for new voices, new ideas. So
I will consider it.
okay. We'll appoint you next meeting.
It's a really fun group.
Yeah, it's, very dynamic, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and they're full of ideas. Some good ones, some also good ones. Unfinished business is nothing that I know of. Town managers report.
I've got a few things. Just to bring you up to date on the prime tanning site, we finally got our covenant from a DEP, signed it on Monday, sent it off to them for signatures. So all the paperwork is being lined up, and I'm hoping to hear before the week is done a closing date on that, probably next week sometime. But Mark Kahaya is planning on coming back in August, and we're trying to get some dates for him. That pertains to the traffic study. The DOT appointed a group. We have a kickoff meeting, and he was very adamant about the fact that he would like to be present to voice his opinions.
When is that meeting?
We haven't got dates from, we're kind of building it around Mark.
Yeah.
Because we want him to be here, and he
Okay.
wants to be here. So we're looking probably somewhere towards the last 2 weeks of August, but I'll make sure that everybody knows when that's going to be. We have also had off and on this spring and early summer, we've had issues with rodents in town. Code enforcement, both Joe and Mark had been out to several sites. A lot of it seemed to be happening because of some of the tenement homes where people were leaving their garbage out. We spoke to the landlords. That seems to have curbed a little bit. But lately, we've had a much larger infestation than we should have. We're not sure why this is happening. A lot of people think it's the prime tanning site, but that site's been empty since 2008.
Same thing's happening in Dover as well,
Yeah.
so.
I heard that there's about a 40% increase in rodents at Somersworth, Dover, Rochester. So today, we had a resident call and speak to me firmly about the issues, and I had already reached out to several pesticide groups to take care of it. I have a meeting with one tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and we're going to walk through the areas. I was out along Bridge Street in some of those areas. I talked to several residents. They're not having issues with it. They are with red squirrels and mice, but nothing any larger than that. I drove around Rollins Street, Bell Street, where this recent group has come complaining. And so once I have a meeting with him, I really want to organize a public meeting for people to attend, because it's not just our region it's happening everywhere around us, it seems. So we can have them come in and talk about how to be preventative and how to take care of it. But I don't want to, so that was my phone messages when I got back from vacation.
Might be a good idea to put some of that information on BCTV as well.
Yeah.
Preventative measures to ensure,
Yep.
we can get a larger dissemination, maybe pass out some flyers also, especially. I don't know if you said a lot of this is occurring around the tenements.
Yeah.
So maybe we need to look at that aspect as well. Maybe code enforcement can go around there and take a look. And if it's an issue that we're having with refuse collection, standing in one spot too long or whatever,
Yeah.
maybe we need to have
Yeah, I saw a lot of open garbage containers today in some of the areas. That's a sure sign that they're gonna find something to eat.
Sure.
I have talked to several people, and some of the tenements have put in pretty secure, larger containers versus having individual cans. But these are things that people just need to be aware of, and I think it would be real good to have a meeting, public meeting, so people can talk to the professionals about what needs to happen. So I'll schedule that as soon as I can. Again, I talked about the kickoff meeting for the traffic study coming up in August. Dispatch, I can't say enough about how smooth this process has been. I commend both public, well, Public Works hasn't really been involved, but police and fire have sat on these with South Berwick and Sanford. We had radio frequencies changed today. They have a few more things to finish up, but we expect to go live sometime on August 22nd. Both chiefs and South Berwick have been extremely happy in how it's gone. And Two-Way and the group out of Sanford have done a great job working together to make sure all the IT stuff and everything is working right. So that's been a nice, smooth transition. And South Berwick is going to stay operating for a while until we can work out if there's any bugs when we go live. But South Berwick's been great to work with as well. Paving will be taking place next week. It'll be Diamond Hill, Beach Ridge, and Pond Road. Wentworth, the price of, because of the tariffs, the price of oil went up, and the prices have gone up a little bit more, so we may have to put aside there's one section of Wentworth, but we'll come back, and I'll have a whole updated version of our road program in September. Let's see, that's all I have. Any questions?
Just to remind people, is how long is the contract with the dispatch for?
It's a 10-year contract, which made our public safety people very happy because they can plan their budgets better. But there was a clause in the contract, which you all had an opportunity to read, that we can get out if we don't feel it's working right. So Sanford and town manager and their dispatch manager have been really easy to work with, and so far things have gone really well. We have been dispatching E911 from there since June, and there's been really no misses, so it's encouraging.
Good.
Yep.
Good. Thank you.
That's all I have.
Selectmen's communication, I have my, seems like a weekly thing from Comcast and Xfinity. This one is saying that they will no longer be carrying Be In Sports, as whatever that was, is they lost their rights to carry that, and they will not be carrying that anymore. So that's the only one I had. All right, now comes the marathon. Since we haven't had a meeting for a long time, we have a lot of accounts payables, and I'm not going to bother to see if they are in order. I'm just going to read through them. AP warrant 1853 from June 30th, 2018 for the amount of $125,400.74. Water warrant 0853 from June 30th, 2018 for the amount of $2,663.28. Account payable warrant 1854 from June 30th, 2018 for the amount of $41,098.66. Account payable warrant 1855 from June 30th, 2018 for the amount of $2,254.06. Water warrant 0855 from June 30th, 2018 for the amount of $5,326. Oh, no cents. Payroll warrant 1901 from July 5th, 2018 for the amount of $74,762.19. Account payable warrant 1901 from July 5th, 2018 for the amount of $729,080.09, and as you can guess, that one's for the school district. Water warrant 0910 from July 5th, 2018, for the amount of $883.51. Payroll warrant 1902 from July 12th, 2018, for the amount of $57,217.19. Account payable warrant 1902 for July 12th, 2018, for the amount of $65,579.19. Water warrant 0902 from July 12th, 2018, for the amount of $5,270.90. Payroll warrant 1903 from July 19th, 2018, for the amount of $58,987.70. Account payable warrant 1903 from July 19th, 2018, for the amount of $70,473.92. Water warrant 0903 from July 19th, 2018, for the amount of $6,385.33. Payroll warrant 1904 for July 26th, 2018, for $60,905.93. Account payable warrant 1904 for July 26th, 2018, $82,506.01. Water warrant 0904 for July 26th, 2018, for the amount of $4,539.89. Payroll warrant 1905 for August 2nd, 2018, for the amount of $63,109.98. Account payable warrant 1905 from August 2nd, 2018, for the amount of $106,810.77. There's payroll warrant 1906 for August 9th, 2018, for the amount of $63,957.44. I'll make a motion that we pay our bills.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? Maureen will be cutting a lot of checks. New business. Member of understanding with Comcast, Diamond Hill and Little River Road.
That's the final draft that both parties have agreed upon. Legal has looked at that, so we just need to vote to accept that. For the cable, that's the extension. I've heard from Brian Christensen that they've already started that about a month ago, getting all the pole permits and all that. So we're hopeful that we'll see some action there in another month or so.
Do I have a motion to accept?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor? MMA Executive Committee vote.
We've already voted on that,
Yeah.
right? So we can bypass
Yeah,
that.
but it has to be mailed in.
Excuse me?
We still have to mail it in.
Okay. So that brings us to impact fees.
Will Renault, to finish up some of the things that we had asked on the Sober Home site, is a cost associated with that. He came in and spent well over a week moving some material around. We did save a little bit of money because Public Works helped hauling off some of the concrete and things like that. So because it has to deal with the recreational fields, I request that we be able to pay that bill with impact fees.
Do you have a price for that?
The first one is 11,000, and I don't know, 250,000, 11,250. I don't have
Yeah,
the bill with me.
Yeah, I didn't see it in the
Didn't see it as
paperwork,
part of
yeah.
that. He just finished up the second part for capping off water and sewer, which is around 4,200. So,
Well, I'd like to see the
like to
figures.
see the bills.
Yes.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
should have
before
been
we-
part of that, but
Yeah.
it wasn't. Okay.
So, and you wanted to talk about the changes to the use.
Well, there's been some recommendations made that, for the impact fees, that, one, we've been using it for recreational purposes, which is what you voted on. The other section use was for open space. There's been some recommendations that we stop using it for open space, and use that funding towards infrastructure for the downtown area, for sidewalks and things like that. I think this is something that you need to think about in making those changes. That you don't have to make them right away, but I think it's good for discussion. Be good use of impact fees. It's going to benefit everybody for sidewalks in the community, especially downtown.
I've been pushing for impact fees for a while, and I'd hate to see all of the money from open space being taken away. I think that's an important part of what we need to look at for the town, for continuing recreation space. But there's not saying that we couldn't change, to have 3 uses, correct?
Yeah.
We can do recreation, open space, and infrastructure, and structure it along those lines.
A lot of percentage to each
Right.
section.
Do you want to limit that infrastructure to a specific area, or?
Well, you heard me say earlier, sidewalks have been a big concern
Yeah.
of mine, I don't want them up Cemetery Road, but
Come on.
we have, we have a lot of existing sidewalk, if you want to call it sidewalk, that goes nowhere, and I think we really need to start addressing, rebuilding that.
Yeah,
And,
they're not well maintained right now, so.
Right.
Yeah.
And,
We'll have some recommendations in September for some of the things that we'd like to put sidewalks up coming across the bridge to kind of connect to Summersworth and going up Sawhill Mill and then over to Moulton to get into the Great Falls Park. James and I talked today about extending the sidewalks from Pine Hill down to Sullivan Street. Part of that is that actually the sidewalks are in pretty good shape, but then all of a sudden they disappear and it's just pavement. And
Right.
I've actually had several young folks come to my office with letters asking if we'd please extend the sidewalks and crosswalks so they were safe. And I think it's those are areas, I think, and eventually get over to the library. I think that's really-
I don't believe, other than going all the way up Rochester Street and down Sweetster Street, there's no connecting sidewalk to the ball fields.
No.
Well, now it's Sullivan Street through 71 Sullivan Street the paved sidewalks with no curbing, it's not acceptable.
No.
And it'd be interesting to see what the planning board has for recommendations. Anything in the downtown area, I would like to see concrete sidewalks. The extended ones going out further, pavement would be
And when they do
acceptable.
the prime tanning, I think that should be part of the requirement.
It's part of the form-based code, isn't it? Or is that just the distances?
That might be the distances. They want to widen them to either 6 or 8 feet. And we're not really very handicap accessible right now.
Right.
But up on Pine Hill, those are asphalt, and I'd still like to keep that asphalt as it comes down.
Right.
And still have, and make sure we have granite curbing
Right.
throughout the whole process
Right.
down here. Just makes it, doesn't come apart when a plow hits it.
Right.
Right. The extension up Pine Hill, up past Knox Lane where it has granite curbing, that was actually done in the mid-90s, with my first term on the board.
Wow, this
As,
held up well.
We originally had plans of extending it all the way up to the trailer park at that time, but that's when budgets started getting real tight, so nothing ever happened any further than that.
James and I have talked about looking for some funding, grant funding for some of that work, and well, the impact fees would help and they have all the planning done. I mean, they'll have John Stoll started that,
Right.
you know, before he left, and James and the planning board have continued to work with that. So they've got a really good plan, I think, to move it forward. And I think it makes for good grants, because we've done a lot of homework.
Yeah, yeah, and we can use impact fees for our matching funds.
Matching funds, yeah.
So it's a good way to leverage extra money.
But then I'll have something drafted, so our next meeting we can vote on that.
Discuss it, all right.
The bid for the 2006 Kawasaki Mule. I have some problems with awarding these bids. We had 2 bids received. One was for $351 and the other one was for $600. I did some quick internet searches today, and you know, comparable ATVs are selling. Well, I saw one on Craigslist that is, I think it was 6 years older than that one, and they were asking $2,900 for it. And if you do a little bit further searches, you can find them, you know, for sale, that model that year, anywhere from $4,000 to $6,000. Granted, this one needs some work, but I feel that, you know, $400 is, you know, a lot less money than it's worth. And I really have a hard time, you know, letting it go at that bid.
Is the intent to get rid of it and just get rid of it, or is the intent to get rid of it for fair market value?
Well, we're not even asking for fair market value. In the past, we've rejected bids for foreclosed properties and other equipment because it seemed like it was just ridiculously too low.
And the police department has replaced that one already.
Right.
Okay.
They replaced it last year.
Right. I feel that, you know, and as I had asked the town manager, you know, earlier, about where it was advertised. It was advertised on the town website and the Facebook page, so it wasn't published in a newspaper or anything like that. And you know, how much does it cost to put an ad in the newspaper, Patty?
It depends, it can be pretty expensive. I'm not sure if that went, it might have been broadcast on BCTV too,
As well,
because Terry shares a lot of our stuff. I got
but
it
it's only
from
gonna
Officer Higgins, so what I can do is Facebook and town. I don't know what PD did for their advertising.
They left it up to
Oh,
us.
so it was
Yeah.
different.
But advertising like in the Foster is it gets pricing.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey, probably more than your bids.
Yeah, definitely more, about the same price as your bids,
Yeah.
$300 or $400. It's
That much
ridic-
for?
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Just for a
Can be.
public notice, and that is a photo and a description, so that would be probably over $500.
We could put it on Craigslist.
That's,
That-
I
Yeah,
think
I
that
mean,
would-
I did some searches, and the cheapest one I could find for this year and model was like $1,700.
exactly,
Right.
yeah.
It's,
I mean,
You can also put it out for bid again with a minimum bid.
Right.
There was no minimum bid.
right.
Typically, our properties go out with a minimum.
yeah, that's our fault.
You had said before that the mechanic for Public Works was leaving. Is he still here, or?
Oh, he's gone.
He's
He went
gone?
to work with SAD 60.
So we, like I say, you know,
I wish him well, because he is a loss, but he's
Yeah.
it's a good move for him,
you know,
so.
what,
I would move that we not accept either of these bids and we send another advertisement out to capture a larger
Audience.
contingent of the population as opposed to just the town. And I'm not sure what, maybe putting down a minimum bid would be a good idea. I'm not sure what that would be.
we could have somebody look at it,
Yeah.
and, you know, and I'm sure we can have somebody look at it and just, you know, give us an idea what, you know, you know, it's a 2006 granted, but, you know, it's not like they were out on the back mountains in northern New Hampshire with it.
I mean, the taxpayers paid for it initially. So I think in order to be good stewards, we should do what we can to get the most we can for it.
At least a reasonable amount
Correct.
instead of a,
Yeah, that's, to me, that's not reasonable.
right. So,
So we have a motion, we have a second?
I'll second.
Could
Any-
I have you please read the bid amount and the bidders and then actually reject them?
They're on tab 13.
You just separate on each one? Let's see, so I would move that we reject the sealed bid for the 2006 Kawasaki Mule 3010 that we received in the amount of $400. You need the name?
You can do it together. Yeah, just read both of them.
Okay,
Yeah, you can do one bid, just read them.
okay. In the amount of $400 from Tom Levine, 46 Key Road, Berwick, Maine, as well as the bid amount for $351 submitted by Christopher Kearns from North Berwick.
I'll second that motion. Any further discussion? All those in favor? Thank you. We have no quitclaim deeds of installment contracts, but we do have some abatements. And, hey, how you doing?
Assessor is here, he's in the building.
I am.
Been here the whole
Thank you very
time.
much. Welcome. Okay, first one was, I think, tabled from the last meeting regarding a property on Little River Road
Yes.
owned by Steve Brown.
Details.
And I wasn't here, I apologize, I'm not sure what the discussion was, but this was a property that Steve Brown owned originally, the entire property. He subdivided a right-of-way to another parcel of land, and in doing so, we incorrectly took that as a lot of record, which it shouldn't have been. So the reason there was no supplement is because he already owned it, he was already paying taxes on it. So what we're looking for is to abate him for the error that he made in the amount of $1,293.11.
I move we accept the town assessor's recommendation.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Okay, thank you. The next one is, if you remember back in July, Susan Wilkinson came in with an abatement for a homestead exemption, saying that she had dropped off her application in the town box out in front of the building. A few weeks ago, when we were looking for something else in one of the files, we came across her application, signed and date stamped that we had received it when she said she had presented it. So I apologize for that. I don't know how it happened. It got misfiled. But we're recommending that that abatement be now granted in the amount of $343, and that's it, $343 for her 2016 homestead exemption on property on 16 Bobcat Lane, tax map R36, lot 33-18.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
The next one is for a property owned by Stephen Brown on 57 Old Route 4. Property is a 58.93 acre parcel that was placed in farmland classification in 1991. The classification provides for the valuation of land based on its current use as farmland rather than its potential fair market value for other uses other than agricultural. The owner has requested that 1 acre from the 12.93 acre of mixed wood farmland be removed from farmland as noted on the tax map. The 1 acre portion was sold to an abutting property owner of R62-7-1 on July 6, 2018. The property owner as of April 1st was Stephen Brown and is the responsible party for the penalty. So therefore, we are recommending that a supplement warrant and certificate of commitment be issued in the amount of $188.12.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
All right, thank you, gentlemen. Have a good night.
Thank you.
See you tomorrow?
See you in the morning.
Thank you. Have a good night.
That brings us to our second public comment, is,
Ken Rain, Sydney Drive. I was just curious on this rodent problem. What kind of rodents? Is it rodents or wild animals?
Rats.
And where is this at?
On Rollins Street, Bell Street, in that area. Two residents, one from Bell and one from Rollins, has left me messages. We don't know where they're coming from. I guess leave it up to the professionals to see how we're gonna remedy this. We did have some complaints earlier in the summer. And like I said earlier, that Joe and Mark went out and investigated. And some of it was, garbage was being left on back porches in some of the tenement houses. I mean, not just a bag or two, a lot. And then the other ones, there was chickens. People are into having chickens. We allow it in the residential area. But if they don't keep the feed contained in something metal, that's gonna draw rats. Same thing with bird feeders. You have bird seed all over the place, that's gonna draw them, and it could draw black bears. That seems to be a favorite food of theirs in residential areas. So people need to be aware, and I'm not an expert on that. I just know that it's just a good policy to let the public know that this is an issue, they need to pay attention, and make sure that everything is secure. You don't want them in your house. We had one lady who trapped 5 rats from 9 p.m. to midnight last night. So that's quite a few.
That's a lot.
yeah.
So we're gonna try to do some public outreach and see what we can do to help. Okay?
My trash is all in the garage in barrels, so it's all secure. But the only problem I've had is with raccoons and skunks.
Not
That's
fun.
about it.
Yeah.
But I have a neighbor right next door to me that has chickens. And that's why I was a little curious.
Yeah. I was down on Bridge Street and some of the side roads down near the river because sometimes you'll have them in those regions, and two people told me that they aren't having any problems with rodents, just mice, because they're rodents as well, but mice are in rural Maine or any areas can.
Right.
Yeah, well, I have mice,
But it's not just,
field
this
mice.
is one of the questions I asked the Orkin gentleman who's coming out, and he brought to my attention that Dover and Rochester and Somersworth are having the same issues. In South Berwick, town
I've been
manager told me
reading the
they're
paper.
having troubles. So, it's just time of year. Where I live, I have red squirrels and chipmunks that are so abundant this year, it's like
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
a
noticed,
bumper crop or something, you know?
Yeah.
this is the first year I've ever noticed I have red squirrels.
Oh, yeah.
I never had them before. All I had was grays and
Yeah.
chipmunks.
They're all over the place this year.
Yeah, they
Yes.
are.
Terrible.
Climate change.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things is that, last fall, there was an abundance of acorns and pine cones and those type of things, so there was a lot of natural food out there, and that allowed a lot of them to overwinter. And obviously, with the weather we've been having, must be prime breeding time, but
Evidently.
so.
The only other thing I just wanted to comment on, the article in the paper, I don't know who did it, on the boat launch, the canoe and kayak launch. I thought it was a very nice article in the Fosters,
I didn't see that.
displaying everything in town.
When was that in the paper?
Was in the paper Was it today or yesterday?
I haven't seen the
Haven't
paper
seen it yet.
recently, so.
Big article, nice
Oh, good.
article about the Berwick launch.
Excellent.
I
That's a
thought it was
great
very
launch.
nice.
Yeah. I know that the city of Rochester is looking to put something similar up
They
in
are, but they're getting a lot of flack.
Chico, right.
Yeah,
Well, we did two at first,
yeah.
so, is,
What can you do?
right.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kev.
you.
I just want to make one comment, so the public hears. Look in your mailbox, next,
You don't have your microphone on. Harry's gonna yell at me for not having you put that on.
you don't want that, that'd be good. We will be sending out a 5x7 card for public awareness on the proposed fire station and police station renovations. It will be in the mail, it'll be two-sided. It has quite a bit of information. August 21st, our next meeting, we will be having a public hearing on Port City architecture. We'll be doing a presentation. This will give everybody an opportunity to ask questions. What the board is looking for is some input on location more than anything else. There's two sites. We eliminated one. The sites we're looking at are Cemetery Road and Wilson Street right next to the police station. There's pros and cons. We'll have more information for you at that meeting. I'm still waiting on some specific costs associated with running water, demolition of the Estabrook School, and I don't have those yet, but this needs to go out in the mail, so look for it in your mailbox. Please come and voice your opinion or ask questions. August 21st. That's it.
We have no executive session. Any other business and non-agenda items?
Motion to adjourn.
A second?
Second.
All those in favor? Thank you, everybody.
There will be no workshop on the town hall policy.